Hi, everybody. Hopefully, you guys can hear us. So confirm, make sure that you guys let us know whether...
Before we go any further, let's confirm audio.
With, all the hand gestures and everything. As long as the audio is working, we should be good to truck on and talk some F-150 stuff that we want to make sure that we get across to the people. So again, like always, like, share, and subscribe on YouTube. Make sure that you hit those like buttons and shares, and that urges us to stop what we're doing and go out and answer some questions a little later. But let's talk F-150. By the way, this is Joe. This is episode 15, according to him.
Yeah. Well, it's probably 16.
Sound is working. Okay, guys.
This is 16. This is episode 16 because 15 just happened.
15 was a flop.
Sound's working now.
Okay.
So everybody can hear us.
We ended up talking some F-150 stuff before. We had some audio issues. Now, every time we get asked which F-150 you should buy and why, we always urge people to buy a 15 and up, not only because of the weight, but because of the engine. Now, weight-wise, we were talking about what, like a single cab, 15 and up versus a single cab, 11 to 14.
About 400 pounds.
So 400 pounds savings. And then horsepower-wise, engine's pretty much similar, or does it actually make...
No, it makes more power.
It makes more power, NA.
Yep.
Just because of better cams, better rotating assembly.
Well, the rotating assembly not really going to change power, but the 15 engine, Mustang and F-150 both have the Boss as cast heads.
Okay.
So being that the heads are the same.
Boss as cast heads?
Well, yeah, as cast. So like everyone knows, or most of the people watching probably know, that Boss heads were CNC ported from the factory.
Right.
The 15 to 17 F-150 Mustang heads, they made the casting of the head as close as they could to the CNC ported Boss heads. Oh. So that's why the 15 to 17s typically make a bit more power, is because the 13 millimeter lift cams and the Boss as cast head.
Okay. And it's just a better flowing head, a little bit better cam, a lot better cam actually, because if you have an 11 to 14 F-150, you really unlock a lot of power and torque if you replace the intake cams.
The intake cams.
And you can just replace it with Mustang cams or any other cam or Boss cams, whatever you can come across. But the intake cams are the weak link in it for sure in terms of making power and the weight, apparently the weight. So your truck recently went on the dyno. Joe put a stage.
Well, we only have one F-150 kit.
Got it. So the F-150 kit.
Yeah, I put the F-150 kit on my truck.
What pulley size?
79 millimeter pulley.
Now, what did it make for power on what fuel?
Shell 93 from right up the street here. It was 600 horsepower and like 523-ish pound-feet of torque.
Okay.
I think I had a pull at like 532, but for the sake of average, I think average power or average torque is like 523. So I had one at like 531, one at like 519, then that other one at like 523.
Okay, so it's making good power.
Yeah.
That's excellent. So now that it's making good power, it fell victim twice to the Genesis about what?
But it was victorious once.
It was victorious once.
That had to be 3-4 months ago now?
Yeah, it was a while, because I think I still had the drag radials in the back of the Genesis, the bulb with the strings coming out of it, but it hooked up, so it wasn't an issue. So we might have to rematch it against his 600 rear-wheel horsepower truck and get gapped pretty hard. Or maybe not, maybe he'll spin, who knows, but a rematch is in order, because I think
that'll be the difference between a dig and like a 20 roll.
Yeah,
I think from a dig I'm gonna spin, but from a 20 roll, if I lock it in second, it hooks.
It hooks pretty good?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
even on the Michelins.
I've driven in it, and I'm telling you, that thing pulls really, really hard because it's single cab. It's like a Lightning, literally, but fast and nice looking. So basically... Shots fired. So F-150 is real popular. There are literally more F-150s on the road than like anything else. And now the Coyote platform is great. If you can only afford 11 to 14, intake cams, correct?
Minimum intake cams.
And then if you can swing a 15 and up, you don't need to change the
You're
cams.
already there.
You're there.
Yep.
And the truck's lighter.
Yep.
Now, the aluminum bed, the aluminum body. You haven't had any issues with the aluminum anything, right? We were talking about it earlier off camera where people, how people advertise the aluminum bed is bad, blah, 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 blah. Then all of a sudden, didn't someone come out with like a different material bed recently?
Chevrolet or GMC is going to be supposedly using a carbon fiber bed.
Carbon fiber bed. That's going to be a whole bunch of fun when they do the rock commercials, when they throw like cinder blocks down with a bucket loader or whatever the hell it is.
Exactly. And Tacoma's had a plastic bed for years now.
Yeah, you don't hear them really. I mean, you put a liner on it and you don't throw stuff from like a story down.
Exactly.
Should be okay. should be.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just wanted to talk a little bit to you about F-150, what we think works. We were talking about swapping F-150 engines into Mustang, and according to Joe, if you swap the cams over and the phasers over, it's just a matter of some tuning changes, and not really that much, according to you. Or do you think there's a lot of changes that need to happen?
It should work, but I'd like to try it before I say 100% that's all that needs done.
Right.
Because we have had that one case where we tried to do it, but the guy didn't time his cams right.
Right.
Or they weren't timed right for him. So I don't know if that was the issue with the firing order change.
But that was a Mustang motor in an F-150, right?
That
How about the other way around? Would you think it still have the same difficulties?
Well, he ended up getting it fixed by having the cams timed right with F-150 cams.
Oh.
So that tells me it's not a rotating assembly versus cam issue, that it was probably just a cam timing issue the whole time.
Right.
But I can't say that with absolute certainty until I've done a Mustang cam swapped F-150 ECU.
Very cool. Okay,
Yeah.
well, we just want to talk a little bit of F-150 stuff. I know we're Mustang heavy here, Mustang centric, but the F-150, once the kit drops, it's going to be a whole bunch of fun because we get asked about it I mean, you think we get Gen 3 questions. F-150 has been just unbelievable. The amount of people that want it, they want it yesterday. How come it's not here yet? You know, that kind of stuff. So if you have any F-150 questions, shoot them by. If you have Gen 3 questions, if you saw my car run at Bradenton, you have any questions that you want to talk about, just let us know. Carrie, do we have anything coming through?
You do. You have quite a bit. So
my.
give me a minute.
Sure, no problem.
Did you get another monitor? I feel like you only had two monitors
she had
before.
two. She has a Dell.
Well, there's a third thing
there's
over
two,
there
and
now.
there's like a Dell. Well, she always had
Laptop.
three.
Oh, okay.
My laptop. Yep.
She's like in the Matrix, like,
I know.
APOC, get me out of here.
It's even worse now. There's these.
I need a
two.
program for an Apache helicopter.
I need to know Kung Fu.
So, Bubba Blue says, it's awesome y'all do these, very informative, and helps us ask questions on our builds and get real-time answers. That
True
being
story.
said, what could I expect to feel if I tune my 1250 long tubes and CIA?
CIA, you might
Feel
get
more power.
Yeah, the CIA might cause, they might look in you a little bit. I'm kidding, Carrie. CAI, cold air intake.
Oh, it was CIA.
it's
I'm
okay.
sorry, it was CAI.
You'll feel more power.
Sorry.
You'll feel better throttle response. What we do a lot of the
Dyslexia.
times is make the car feel peppier based on throttle feel, pedal. You're gonna get, if you're running premium fuel, you'll get a little more timing pushed into it. The cold air is just going to be able to add additional horsepower, take any restrictions away. It's not going to be this night and day. Oh my God! But the driving is
The auto guys.
Auto guys, yes.
It's like night and even the manual stuff. If you're on 93, the amount of torque and stuff we can get out of it down low is pretty significant.
Yeah, we tuned a guy locally a couple of, maybe a year ago, and he was like amazed. Now it's been so long that I drove a stock car and then put a tune
You're
in it.
jaded now.
I'm jaded because I'm like, if it doesn't make 800,
If it doesn't make 150 more horsepower, it doesn't feel any faster.
Exactly. So I'd love to get into a car that's not tuned. Actually, we have a stock.
I did a
Chucky's
couple
out
last
there.
week.
Yeah, Chucky's out there just hanging out, so we can do that and see how it feels. And then, but yeah, there's a significant gain just in the butt dyno and everything. Carrie?
And then
She's busy. She does a lot behind the scenes, guys. You got to understand. For her to read questions and type and copy paste, there's a lot of stuff going on. So.
Peyton says, wants to know who's going to be at ShelbyFest in May.
I think Joe. Joe's going to be at ShelbyFest. I believe Justin, Rebecca, and a tech.
And Mike.
And Mike.
Mike's coming to ShelbyFest.
And I'm telling you, Mike's an insanely good tech. Both of our techs are very good, but Mike is just one of those guys that, leave me alone.
He's
I'm
with it.
going to get to work, and I'm just going to hammer away. He's very good.
Tony wants to know, what is the best way to drag race your automatic procharged Coyote? Just put it in drive and let it do the work, or should you put it in sport and use the manual buttons?
Depends on who's tuning it, right?
Yeah, and how they have shift points set up and whether or not you want your shift points to be where they're at or if you want to manually shift it higher than the shift point set. So get with your tuner, ask them how specifically they want you to race the car at the track.
Now, on our tunes, we put it in drive, and we set the shift schedule based on RPM and output shaft speed. I did a lot of learning on that on the True Street Cruise and everything. And basically, just leave it in drive, and that's where you're going to do your drag racing. It's set up to be optimal. Your sport mode, there's not, if you put it in sport and you try to shift it at 7,500, the moment you click, there might be a delay, and it might hit a limiter before you actually do the shift. So for our tuning, for our customers that have an S550 or even a S197, leave it in drive, and that's the best way to do it.
That, and I like to think of sport mode as makes the car more fun to drive around town mode.
Right.
Or like if I'm going to autocross an automatic car, put it in sport mode.
For sure.
But for, like you said, our tuning, leave it in drive. I mean, you could put it in sport in our tune, and it's still, at wide open throttle, will shift at the same RPM as it does in drive. So in my mind, there's not really a benefit to putting it in sport mode on the track,
Right.
especially if you put it in sport mode to do your burnout, you manually shift it, and you forget to put it back in drive and put it back in sport, because you're going to go to hit it, and it's going to lock you out in the last gear that you upshifted into.
Right.
And you won't have fun.
You won't have fun. Melvin says, hey Alex, congratulations on your time in Bradenton on the red car.
Thank you very much.
Ray says, does the VMP F-150 have stock cams? If so, how much do you think you could gain with Mustang cams?
The VMP F-150 is a 15, so to my knowledge, there isn't a 15-up F-150 cam made.
Aftermarket.
Right. And swapping in the Mustang cams wouldn't be of any benefit to it, because the Mustang cams and F-150 cams, lift and duration, are the same. It's just a different firing order for F-150. So the firing order isn't going to make you any more power than it does already on the F-150.
Coca-Cola says, thanks for the tune. I ordered it last week. It's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. Shelby Canada West says, shout out from Canada.
Hey.
Neil says, best part of the day.
Cool.
Nice. He said, hey boys, I have...
You must have a really bad life.
He says, best part of the day, hey boys, I have a 13 Boss, not sure of end goal. Can you tune red and black key differently? What gains on long tubes and tune? Great show, we all learned so much. And what are the big differences motor-wise with my Boss upgrades?
We can tune red and black key differently only with HP tuners. SCT does not currently have the ability to do that, so you would need to use a N gauge to do that. And I believe we'd have an additional fee for something like that. So that'd be something you'd have to reach out to sales and support on to try and figure out exactly how much something like that would cost. But the ability to do so is there.
And gains on long tubes. Not much NA. It's going to sound great, especially with like some GT500 mufflers. I'm telling you, we just heard a bone stock GT500 pull out of here, and it sounds so good. Gurgling just right. It's perfect. It's more of a ability to shove a little more spark in early, but you're not going to feel an insane amount of difference with long tubes naturally aspirated. It's more of a sound thing.
Yeah.
Alexander says, when my 13 Roush Charged GT is data logged, bank 1 and 2 AFR is not responding.
Okay.
Changed O2 sensors and checked wiring for damage. What else could cause this?
A lot of things. In my experience, if the widebands, you're saying if measured AFR is at 0,
then short terms are locked out.
Then,
or if measured AFR is reading a value, but short terms are locked out, it's usually like it senses a fault somewhere in the system and it ignores what the short terms are doing. If it's a heated O2 fault, or like I've even seen reference voltage faults cause O2s to not work.
I've seen a lot of cases where someone has long tubes and they have the extensions provided by the long tube manufacturer, and it just causes an issue, especially at wide open throttle, where everything just goes to 0.
Boop,
yeah,
gone.
so we always urge you, if you can, we know you can because we do it here, to use the stock harness. It'll reach, trust me.
Or an F-150 sensor.
That's right, an F-150 sensor that has a longer lead, basically. Are they blue? They tend to be blue. For some reason, I saw
remember
blue
offhand.
or
I've seen them before, but I can't remember what color the conduit cover is on it.
Right, but if you get an F-150 or Raptor, is Raptor the same?
I think Raptor's the same too. I can't remember which one they use. It's either 5 liter or 6.2 wideband sensors have a longer cable attached to them.
It'll give you a couple of inches that you'll need. As we all know, you always can use a couple of inches.
Yeah, on that one. Zimmy95 says, is commenting on Alex's cough not being gone yet, and that we need to get you some water, apparently.
What? Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's bad. It's one of these lingering things that I just don't know how to get rid of. I've tried everything, cough drops, making out with Joe, all that stuff. Nothing works. So
Deep throating.
just gonna let it. I'm just gonna, just ride it out and see what happens. I need to get that scratch away down here. And I just can't get it. So
Let me help you with that.
sorry about that.
TMI. Christopher says ETA on 2650 for
2650?
GT500, sorry, platform.
I thought it was late March.
Look for it shortly after 5 liter comes out. I think we already put a release date out with the pre-orders for 5 liter.
Right.
So the release date is that factual or not factual?
So yeah, so we did some pre-orders for
you can answer the question. I don't know.
Yeah, so I can actually answer this. So we did pre-orders for the 5.0. At this time, I don't believe we're taking any more pre-orders for the 5.0. However, I will let you know that starting tomorrow, I will be releasing pre-orders for GT500s.
Very cool.
Okay.
There you go.
So
ta-da. There's your answer.
there's your answer. Starting tomorrow, I will be putting up the information on GT500s.
And if you have any more questions about Gen 3 or what you should do to your car, be sure to email Carrie.
Yeah. Then I just forward it on to the guys. Bamir says he's got a 17 GT. It's idling down so far it shuts off when coasting to a stop. Doesn't do it every time. I'd say every 8 to 10 stops. He's going to try and catch it on a log. Any thoughts on what might cause this?
If it's naturally aspirated or boosted, depending on who's tuning it, I've seen a couple of times where many things. Unmetered air, the tune setup.
Filter fell off.
Yeah, filter fell off. The tune setup. Mostly it's tune related, I would think, if there's no unmetered air. Unmetered air, what we say is unmetered air, is stuff that's not captured by the MAF sensor. So let's say you have a kink on your hose and it's getting air in the throttle body or somewhere where it's not being measured.
And I've seen bad TPS sensors do it.
Yeah, exactly.
But when you have any type of throttle related issue or any type of idle issue, keep in mind these cars are, the logic that runs the engine is torque based. Torque is calculated off the mass airflow sensor and the torque models in the ECU. So the first place you want to look if you're ever having an issue with the way the car is running is to check for unmetered air or check to make sure your filter hasn't come off and it's getting turbulent air coming across it. Step 2 is get with your tuner.
There you go. And if it's us, send us data logs. We'll take a look and we'll party. Shouldn't be an issue.
Zimmy95 wants to know, what did you run on the 69 pulley? It's not included in the video.
I didn't put a 69 millimeter pulley on it. So what happened at True Street, for those of you that don't know how True Street runs, I'll try to be real brief about it. I got one test pass on Saturday just to see how the car ran. That's where it went 950 and it hit a limiter on the 1.2. Joe and I fixed that. So then you go on a 30-mile drive and then you immediately get in the lanes and you start racing. No adjustments, no nothing. You immediately start racing. So if the car just is hot or whatever, you're running. So the first run was a 942?
Yeah, 942 or
942 or 140.
yeah, because your test pass was like a
950.
Yep.
Yeah. So it was a 942. Then you go around, and then everyone else goes, and you go right again. I mean, at that point, you can't really data log. You can data log, but you can't really change the tune. You're not supposed to be even have a laptop with you. So then the second pass, I clicked the 932 off. And then on the second pass and the third pass, it spun. It just spun crazy because I was in the left lane.
Like to the 330.
I mean,
it's funny. It's comical to watch the video. It's like you're in it, you're sliding.
I was in it the whole time because I was hoping it would scrub a little bit and grab. And it was already in third gear, and the miles an hour were like at 110. And I said, okay. So I just let off because a couple things. I don't want to hurt the car. I had to drive it back 3 hours because I drove it 3 hours there. I mean, the epitome of street car. Drove it 3 hours. 4 total passes, drove it home 3 hours, and it ran a best of 932 at 146. So with a 75. Yep. Now it's time before Texas 2K, because we will be at Texas 2K, is to throw a 69 millimeter pulley on it, potentially the MFP lower, and see what it makes.
Race car status.
Ivan says he's got a Boss 302, the same over I guess he's asking, is the Boss 302 the same over all years, 11 to 14? He's looking at getting a 12.
Oh, I don't
Wasn't there only 12 and 13?
12 and 13. Right. But they were manufactured in 11 and 12, whatever.
Yeah. So
yeah.
the 12 should have piston oil squirters.
And the 13 should not.
Yeah. Other than that, those two engines should be identical.
Mm-hmm.
Same with the transmissions and whatnot.
Yeah, it's an MT82. It's nothing special.
Yeah.
Victor says, someone wants to know why your nickname is what it is. Why did you give yourself
What's
yellow?
my nickname?
Apparently-
My nickname's Alex because my name's Alejandro.
Apparently someone wants to know why you call yourself yellow douchebag.
He
Chris-
Part of the
work-
personality.
He doesn't work here. You know?
Yeah, he doesn't work at
He doesn't work
VMP.
here.
Alex isn't here now.
Yeah.
Chris wants to know, which is a good question, are we going to have more guests like we did last weekend? He says a cam expert would be awesome.
Oh gosh, yeah. I'd love to have like Michael Rousher come down and just explain cams, in his own way. You ever met Michael Rousher? Great guy, but he'd be a great personality to come here and talk technical stuff to people. He's a total bro like that. Sean from AED, if you want to come up here and talk cams, I'd love it. I'd love to have cam people on here, injector people on here. We already had I watched the clutch episode again. Dude, the information was so good. I literally sat there and watched the whole thing and went, damn, that's great.
I gotta rewatch it.
Yeah, it's so, because Jeff Gurko is good on camera. He says Jerko, but it's a G, so I don't want to call him Jerko, but it's Gurko to me. And he's so good. He explained it so well. We did real good work with the camera editing, getting in and seeing what the different parts. It was so good. It was such a great episode, and I want that to happen with more parts, clutches, injectors, cams, you name it. Torque converters. If someone from Circle D wants to come up here and give us a cutout and show us what the differences are between a 2C, a 3C, I'd love stuff like that to happen.
It'd be good times.
It'd be a great time.
Call us. Tuning is,
Basically,
again,
we're
the
putting
whole
it out
setup.
there.
The whole setup.
Call us.
Yeah, call us. If you're out there and you want to be on this platform, come on up. We'd love to have you. It'll be on your dime, and we're not going to pay for anything. So.
And you're buying lunch too,
You're
right?
buying lunch too. You're lucky to get it supersized.
Too funny.
Oh, Baba.
Oh, you're killing me. GM Smoker says, any experience with Boss intake versus GT350 with boost?
Boss intake with GT350 boost.
I don't have dyno experience with both of those on boost. I
Yeah,
have
both
dyno
of those.
experience with both of those on naturally aspirated.
I have dyno experience on Andrew Jewell's car, the turbo car, but I didn't throw a Boss intake on it and then a GT350 intake on it. So
In my opinion, the GT350 is better. So just get that.
Billy Brantley says he can get an FTI rep here.
yeah,
Give it
I
up.
mean FTI. The thing is, do they make 6R80 converters? Because that's the main thing we
Well,
need.
that's isn't.
And Melvin Vega says, how about bringing the guys from Circle D for us 6R80 owners?
Yes, that's kind of what
so
I'm.
Circle D is probably
That's
the one
kind of
to
what
go
I'm
to.
gearing towards. FTI is more, I think, race oriented.
Then I think they do 4R70 stuff. I don't know if they do
Yeah.
6R80 stuff. though.
Unfortunately, I love FTI, but we need something relevant to us, you know.
Yeah, they were sitting there saying FTI's in DeLand, so it's only a couple minutes away.
Oh yeah, because Micah was doing some converter stuff down there. Right?
Although I guess at the end of the day, converter's a converter.
True.
But if they want application-specific questions answered, it'd probably be best to get
I want
Circle
the
D
guy
in there.
here to Circle D to tell you what, for this application, what size, what stall, where does it stall, and what's best for what combo. In my opinion.
In my
Man, time's
opinion.
flying. I can't believe it.
I just want to give a shout out real quick. Coca-Cola, you're welcome.
Pepsi.
Yeah, they said thank you,
Yeah.
Carrie.
Pepsi with peanuts.
Adam says, can the whine from a PD blower cause false knock?
No,
No, the
Not-
wine? No.
not on our TVS. I should probably cite that a bit more specifically. I have never seen our TVS cause any false knock issues.
Apparently FTI also makes 6R80 converters.
Okay. I guess it's not as popular in the market as a Circle D because most people use Circle D. That's kind of like Circle D, you know. They're out of Houston. But if FTI wants to come by and explain to us converters and everything and applications and showcase their product, of course. Yeah, I mean, get down here.
Give
Why
us
aren't
a
you
chat.
here yet? You're in DeLand. Let's go. Get in the car.
You got like 30 minutes left. Get over here.
Right? Oh no, it's like an hour because we just go over.
Oh, it's 2.
Yeah, it's not a
I was
3.
like, man, 3. That happened quick.
Coca-Cola says, I just did it. I have a stock 13 GT and just bought the Tune last week, so he's excited.
Sweet.
He done did it.
Very good.
Ghost Production says, what's the smallest pulley I can run on a 13 GT with a VMP Gen2R with Sai Li return style fuel system and Deathworks 95 injectors. Tuned for
Deathworks.
93 and E85.
For 93, the smallest you can do is a 79, regardless of your fuel system.
Wait, he has a Sai Li fuel system in 93?
Well, he also said, and he wants a tune for 93 and E85.
Got it.
69 is as small as I'd recommend going.
On a stock motor?
As small as I'd recommend going with that fuel system,
Got it.
regardless of engine.
Got it. I wasn't listening. Sorry.
Freedom Junkie
good.
said, oh, he wants to know about you running on a smaller pulley. We already covered that.
Yep. Not yet. It'll happen probably this week. I'm going to try to throw the 69 on there, go to Palm Beach International, which the prep isn't that good, but it's the only track near me. And if I can bust off an 8, you guys will know it. Trust me.
Plastered across the internet.
Oh yeah, I'll post it because I'm not looking to gut the car. I don't want to put any exotic parts on the car. I don't want to do anything to the car that doesn't allow me to enjoy it on a daily basis.
The first 8-second S550.
No, there's been some, but
I know.
you know what I mean. I want it to be just chilling, nice,
Just
heated, cooled
the
seats.
heated,
all this
cool
stuff.
seats, doing
yeah,
its thing.
It's a nice car, so I'm not gonna go wild with it. 8s, I'm happy, thrilled. Hell, I'm happy now. I think flies.
Yeah, it does. Yanks.
Yeah.
That Mustang guy says, I'm swapping a 1314 TR6060 into my 13 MT82 car.
Okay.
What rear gear ratio do I need for that quarter mile? I have 331s now. The car is making 700 wheel.
410s. 410s. Done. You don't need to do anything else. Get 410s. And don't ask me any other questions. 410s. Get 410s. I had them in there. They were perfect. Perfect for that setup.
Okay. Nastang says, Alex, you still believe the GT350s OEM CAI is still the best intake to use on the Voodoo? Also, are there any gains to be had with the 91 tune despite the factory 526 horsepower is related with 93?
I think Ford did such a good job with the GT350 that cold air is adequate. If you look at it closely, it's set in really deep in the shield. It has really tall seals, so IATs are pretty low. It's made out of plastic or whatever kind of exotic materials they use.
ABS.
Yeah, and those guys, Ford only spent, I don't know, a couple $1 billion developing this thing. And it's optimized. I see a lot of guys with GT350s throw aftermarket cold airs in there. That's fine. I don't think your gains are coming from the cold air per se. I think it's coming more from the tune. That's my opinion. Again, opinions are like you-know-whats and everyone's got them. But I think it's designed so well that people have put it on their 11 to 14 cars and 15 cars, GTs, and gain performance. So I think it's a great piece. Now, if you want to get an aftermarket piece, go for it. I'm not gonna tell you not to do it, but in my opinion, Ford did an excellent job with this vehicle. And I would honestly, if I was to buy one like a that version or an R, I would just leave it alone and just go road race it and have fun with it. It's perfect in my opinion.
Tune it, throw a little bit more of that low end torque at
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Maybe
Make it feel a little bit
low
less
in torque,
lazy.
but like in terms of hard parts, nothing.
They're pretty solid.
They're nothing. I would do nothing to that car.
Bubba Blue says he's asked before, but he forgot who it is. Who is the dealer in the Houston area?
Dealer, I believe Bomberos is
Yeah.
a dealer of ours.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if there's another. Bomberos out of Katy, Texas, and I do not know if there's another dealer down there.
Is Midnight Performance a dealer?
Not yet.
Okay.
They should talk to us about that because they have so many fast cars that they build. Mustang, they just got the VMP powered gray car, silver car, that went 930s. They just got it back up and running, so I'd love to see that car at
Is
2K.
Where's Lethal Performance out there? Is that in like Austin or something?
I think so. I don't
Okay.
think it's in Houston, but you guys can correct me if I'm wrong.
Brandon says an engine building episode would be great too.
Yeah, I don't know anything about engine building.
Well, the problem with engine building, and like a lot of these things, you're going to get a lot of different opinions on different things that you should do. So us having an engine building episode is kind of like someone talking about, I don't know.
Cold airs?
I was going to say Beanie Babies,
Beanie Babies?
because like everyone has an opinion.
Oh,
Yeah.
got it.
So
Yeah, like I'll give you an example. The red car has stock compression, stock everything, but it is built. So
It's sleeved.
It's sleeved, and the rods and pistons are forged with the stock crank. You're not going to get any more power out of the mods that we did on the bottom end of that car. So we just did it for strength. So, you know, depending on what you want to do, if you want to get exotic and raise compression and all that stuff, that's kind of a black
Go to
hole.
1 millimeter rings instead of 1.5 millimeter
Right,
rings.
so it's one of those things where you're like, you know, it's too opinion based for us to go into it in depth. And honestly, I don't know enough about the subject to give you any kind of a good opinion on it. I'm not that smart.
You're pretty smart.
Bamir says, what do you guys think about the 15 to 17 S550 running 18 GT manifolds?
You just tuned one, right?
Yeah, but he has vacuum leaks. 40% fuel trims. It's
yeah, fix that.
yeah.
They seem to make power.
Yeah. That's about all it really needs to be said about it. Your IMRCs won't plug in the way that they are in your 15 to 17 harness versus the 18 manifold. So you'll either have to lock them out and hook up the position sensors, or leave the position sensors off and tune it like a Boss 302 intake manifold or a cobrajet on one of those.
IRC's off and everything. Okay.
Yep.
Joseph Vandermark came on and said, Alex, I want to thank you once again for helping me at the NMRA at TechN.
Oh gosh, okay. That's a funny story. So I'm teching in, meaning you go in, they inspect your car. And a fan said, hello, very nice, him and his, I believe, wife. And we're talking for a little bit. And he said, you know, I have a check engine light. And I don't know why I have a check engine light. And I don't know how to check it on the SET X4. I said, plug it in, we'll go through it. Because we were waiting for another guy to get teched in. So he checks it, and it had like P0171 or whatever, like
The heater codes?
O2 codes, like lean codes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure which code, but it was bank 1 and bank 2, lean codes. And he's like, what the heck could cause that? I said, who's tuning it? He said, Lund. I said, what kind of cold air do you have? He goes, PMOS. I'm like, I don't think it's they got it figured out, you know, I don't think it's a tune. So he goes, I don't know. So he opens the hood, and because the 1314s have the hood vents, he had put like a chamois over the cold air intake filter. And he drove it.
That'll cause all sorts of weird airflow.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, hey, there's your problem right there. So he took it out. He felt a little embarrassed. But, you know, hey, at least we figured out the problem. I said, clear the codes, showed him how to clear the codes, and he had a good weekend. It was a good time.
Beards and Cars says, Alex, question. I have long tubes, high flow cats, and MBR back. Just switched over from E85 back to 93 on my Engage.
Okay.
And my rear O2s say not ready, and O2s not ready. And any suggestions?
You're not tuned by us, I don't think, because it's an S550 with an Engage. So my opinion is that adaptive learning is probably off to dial in the combo, and maybe it wasn't flipped back on, but I don't know. I would get with your tuner to check all of the monitors to make sure they're ready and everything. I would definitely get with them, but the O2, rear O2 is not ready. Believe it or not, it's adaptive. That's what I've seen anyway, adaptive learning, unless you've seen different.
If it was on a flex fuel tune, it probably has adaptive enabled.
But it's not flex, switching from E85 to 93.
Yeah, but I'm saying when they're making the changes E85 to 93, they're probably not turning off adaptive on only one of the files.
Got it.
So it's probably because he hasn't completed a drive cycle since he flashed it.
That's true. When you flash a vehicle, you have to complete drive cycles, key on, key off, you just drive it a lot, bumper to bumper traffic, get out, get in, get out.
And then your monitors will set.
And they'll reset, yep. Sorry.
For what?
For coughing, yeah.
It's all good.
Because it probably sounds terrible. So.
It's all good. No worse than my typing. Alex, somebody wants to know how much horsepower is your Mustang making?
All of it.
At the moment.
Predominantly.
Right now, currently at the moment. It's on a 75 and a 15 E85 long tubes. With the stock lower manifold, the reason I say this is, with the stock lower manifold, it made 860 and 750 torque, like a lot of torque. We installed the Brett Barber ported lower manifold, and that's what it went to Brett Barber from Racer's Edge in Arizona. We put it in there, and we never dynoed it. I just put it on and wrote out and said, it's not going to affect fueling because it's
math-based.
It's post everything, exactly. But I'm sure it's because the Brett Barber ported stuff tends to be, it's port matched to the heads. What I'm going to do next week is this. Put it on dyno, the same dyno that I dynoed 860 on, and see what the difference is, and then throw the MFP lower on it and see what the gains are. But right now, as far as the last dyno pull I made 860 wheel.
The guy that just commented on the cats and the O2s and what have you, he
Right.
said he drove it 230 miles.
That
doesn't mean that you completed
anything.
the-
Drive cycles are different than.
It's-
Explain to them what drive
cycles aren't mileage. Drive cycles are like achieve this mile an hour for X amount of time. Turn the key off, turn the key back on, complete another drive cycle criteria. Like
Ford has a very specific drive
There-
cycle to reset all the monitors and everything.
and there's a
He says it drive cycles.
Oh, well then, get with your tuner.
Get with your
Unfortunately-
tuner.
Unfortunately, get with your tuner.
There's-
That's the only thing I can think of.
other than drive cycles, there's not much we can tell you about a tune that's on your car that we're not doing.
Right. With our stuff, everything is on and enabled. So unless adaptive is still off, so we could dial in the math on a kind of an exotic combination, and we forgot to flip the switch, it should pass and anywhere. It should pass inspection.
As long as it still has all the factory installed
Right.
emissions devices.
Exactly.
Corrupted says, sup guys, what
Sweet.
exhaust setup brand do you guys like on an S550?
Corsa Sport or Corsa Touring.
If you're going to be a Borla guy, I'd get the tamest Borla one that they have, which I think is like Touring or something light, like not Attack. They're very loud, but the Sport or the tamest one you can find.
And Stainless Works sounds good too.
Oh, Stainless Works and American Racing catback.
I didn't know they have a catback.
Dude, Ben Calamer, Ben Calamer's cars, American Racing front to back. It sounds unbelievable. I love how his car sounds.
Anything that's not aluminized is probably gonna
Someone
sound
says Borla Stingers.
I think so. Stingers? No, are those loud?
good. Those are the loud
Oh, I
ones.
thought you were just being
because
silly.
there's like the Touring mufflers, Stingers, and Attack. I think are like their three setups.
And every 2-valve on the planet has Stingers, right?
And every Cobra on the planet has Stingers and long tubes.
Right, because they're not fast, so they have to sound fast.
Shot to the heart.
You are too plain.
You give low a bad name.
Jason has kind of a long question. And
Sounds like an email question.
it kind of is. So, Jason,
We like to keep it
James.
short and sweet.
Yeah,
here.
you understand people, you got to give the questions just a very small, because she has to read
Concise.
them, she has to read them, and we have to answer them. So we try to squeeze in. A lot of people get mad if we don't get to them, so we try to keep the questions 2 sentences.
So
max.
James, I'm going to ask you to send that to sales@VMPPerformance.com, and what will happen is they'll shoot it over to the right tuner, and they'll be able to follow up with you. So, I know that Mustang guy said thanks to you guys earlier. Hayden wants to know any updates on the Fairmonte.
None. I'm
It
sorry.
is still out there.
It's
You
still
put the
out there.
CJ manifold on top of the engine, and
That-
that's the update.
That's the update. I put a cobrajet manifold, let you guys know what manifold I put on there. And time. I mean, we're going to be at 2K.
breaking my heart.
And then I know, I love that car. We saw a Zephyr. A
Mercury
Mercury Zephyr
Zephyr.
box top baby blue at NMRA, and I forget, I lost it. I was like, oh my God. So I definitely have to get going, because we're going to be at 2K, Texas 2K, then we're going to be at Ponies in the Smokies, and I think I have some time in between that and any other event that I might be able to put some, put a good dent into getting the car put together.
Okay, so someone wants to know how many pounds are you running on the new blower, and he wants to know if your car has a stock tranny.
Stock 6R80 case, but it does have a 2-year-old power by the hour build. Intermediate shaft clutches, exit clutches, which I'm telling you, I guarantee that transmission's not on its way out, but it needs a refresh, I think. And I think it has a center support, but stock converter too. No Circle D, nothing, just a stock converter on a 75 and a 15. And what was the other question? The
Boost.
Boost. I don't know. I think whatever a 69 and a 5 would be, which is a 75 and a 15.
Probably around 14 to 15 pounds.
So yeah, 14, 15 PSI top. I haven't measured boost. I just, the fueling's good, spark's good. I just send it.
Triton 2 says if the Gen 2 TVS isn't being discontinued, and let's say the Gen 3 price isn't dramatically different, which one would you recommend and why? Running on 93/E85 daily driver weekend car.
There you go. I mean, I think you know the answer to that. You just have to be told. The Gen 3 will give you a lot of headroom, okay, in terms of growth. But if you're a daily driver car that switches fuels once in a while, understand this: the Gen2R can make enough boost to blow your rods every other direction. It makes all the power. I've seen guys make high 900s with it, and it's not an issue. The stock bottom end is good for about 750 before you really start thinking about buying some curtains, and you know, it becomes a bit of an issue. The Gen 3 is great if you want to make similar
Big
power. Similar power at lower boost or lower rotor speed, and make big power like
At higher rotor speed.
At higher rotor speed, like 1,000 and up. As you saw, Track Attack made 1,000, not a problem. So you know the answer. You don't really have to be told the answer.
The same gentleman that was having the O2 issue wants to know: are you guys able to tune with no emission problems or seal lights?
If the emissions components are present.
If everything on the car is completely stock, besides like a cold air intake or a intake manifold, and there's nothing physically wrong with the car, like you don't have a bad O2 or anything like that, we can physically tune it.
So this is what he has: is GT350 intake manifold, long tubes, MBRP exhaust, high flow cats, air raid CAI, and are you able to tune with no emission problems or seal lights?
We've tuned combinations like that before with no emissions related check engine lights on.
And you will not be getting tuned with an Engage.
Nope.
No Engage tuning for S550 Mustang
On that setup.
on that setup.
Chris wants to know: what's the highest compression ratio you've tuned on a Coyote E85?
Stock, I think, or 12-to-1, I think.
I think I did an illuminator that was the high compression illuminator.
Okay, yeah, I think.
On E or C16.
Yeah, I did a low compression illuminator. Oh man, it needed all the boost to make what like a stock motor Coyote makes on like a 79 or 75. So
It's terrible.
unless you're going turbo, don't get a low compression anything.
Even then,
you need like 35
like-
pounds of boost.
10 to 20 pounds of boost on a turbo would be fine, 11-to-1 with the right octane, but 40 pounds, might want to think about a 9.5-to-1 maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Poor boy says, I love the show. I look forward to watching while I'm at work shoving GM Korean-made parts into trailer.
That's great.
He says, Alex, awesome job at the track. 8-second sleeper. VMP Performance rocks.
It'll
Sweet.
get there. It'll get there. I really no. It's an automatic. I didn't do anything. I just smashed the gas. It's cool, but I appreciate you guys. But when you say good job, I'm like, I really didn't do anything. The car did all of it. It's just set up well. If anything, it's a testament to our tuning and our products, because I think that's a great drivability, durability test. 3 hours there, race it, 3 hours back. Unlike, and I only went through 15, 25 gallons total. It's pretty good.
That's
Can't
not too
complain.
shabby.
Couple people have shout outs to Joe basically saying that they love you.
Oh
Joe's the
my.
man. You guys know
Oh
he's
my.
John Alvarez. And
he makes it all
one
happen.
other one.
Alvarez. Ooh, you like them Spanish boys.
Oh yeah. BB. Mi amor.
Neil says, I thought we answered this. A 13 Boss 302, can you tune both keys?
Yep, we answered him, yes.
Yes. He jumped on. I guess he didn't see the answer or hear the answer.
Gotcha.
Gotta re-listen to the feed.
It's funny, when you look at the feed, how the questions come up, they're kind of funky, so it's kind of hard to follow the answer unless you're like literally staring at it. And then on the replay, it's a little better, but yeah, I understand the issue there.
Yeah. Matthew says, when will the Gen 3 VMP for supercharger be available for the 0304 Cobras?
Oh, wow.
We've discussed this
June? July-ish?
many times.
Way up
Yeah,
there.
it's
It'll be a
around
while.
June.
It'll be a while. Just, just relax.
Just hang out.
Just relax. There's no rush. A lot of people, I'm kind of baffled as to why people say, well, I need to buy something right now, and I need to know when it's available. I'm like,
Because if I don't spend that money on a blower, my air conditioner is going to go out next month,
okay,
and it's going to chew up my account.
Okay, that makes sense, but you guys gotta understand.
It's like house appliances here that you have money laying around.
Yeah, and then
they're like,
here you go, buddy.
I'm going to take a vacation.
Hey.
So, hey,
You know that
later.
you have the ED's mint chocolate chip you got? Eat it. 'cause
It's gone. It's melting.
Oh,
Nice.
Hope your milk doesn't go bad. Oh.
hey. Hope you're not lactose intolerant. Hey.
Whopper says, at what mileage would you suggest I replace my timing chains? And while at it, should I change out OPGs as well? A 2012 car that has 100,000 miles.
Wow, that's cool. No, I wouldn't, unless you hear something funky. I don't think you need to replace your timing chain.
If you beat the snot out of your car, 150K.
Yeah.
If you drive it like a grandma, don't even worry about it till they start making noise.
Exactly. And yes, when you do replace them, do the oil pump gears. Do get a set of MMR or TSS when they become available, because I know they've been back ordered forever and good to go.
James wants to know, why will nobody allow Ghost Cam Idle Tune for boosted applications? And can I take my NA Ghost Cam Idle Tune and put it on my boosted tune via HP Tuner so I have the lope?
Stop it.
Is it lope?
Lope. So this is why I'm going to tell you. This is what's going to happen, and this is I know Lund Racing offers it for free, and they're not going to adjust it because it is free. It is.
No, I think it's Bama. It's free. I don't think Lund offers Ghost Cam tuning for free.
Hopefully, if Lund, Dasan, or anyone is on, they can answer the question. So the Ghost Cam tune, it is for you to be at the car show, at Cars and Coffee, going like, oh, cool, and it sounds great with some crazy exhaust. It is not meant for you to drive around in. If a tuner was to say, screw it, let's put a Ghost Cam tune in your boosted car, it's not going to drive well because it's difficult. He has to come down to idle and chop, and half of you guys go,
it takes a lot of time.
I wanted to chop harder, it's not chopping hard enough. And you're like, what the hell? Seriously. So it's not worth it for anyone to make it drivable. If you
John Lund says, yes, they do offer free along with purchase of normal idle tune.
Yeah, so it's free. And they say, so they say if you want, let's say if you have a 2011 Mustang and a JLT, cold air, or PMOS, they'll say, do you want the cammed option? Yes. So they just give you two files, a regular 93 and a cammed option. They don't adjust that. It's free. A boosted application is not going to drive well. If you have a TVS blower, you'll need a low vacuum bypass because it will get hot on you and you will have no brakes. Trust me. And then downstreams go up because I think the bypass does something funky.
Well, not just the bypass. The way the exhaust gases kind of get pushed up into the intake with the reversion.
It is more a pain in the ass. In my opinion, the cam lope tune is great if you want to just show out at the car show at Big Y, Publix, or Winn-Dixie, or Piggly Wiggly.
Piggly Wiggly.
And then that's it. And then go back to the regular non-lope tune and have a great drivable car. The cam lope tune, it is simply, I forget the name that they use. It's a
cosmetic modification, even though it's not literally.
Yeah, it's
you
not
know
cosmetic,
what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's just for show. It is not meant to be drivable. Period.
It's an accessory.
It's an accessory. It's like a purse. It's like a Gucci purse with a little Gucci purse inside of it.
But they're from China. They're not actual Gucci purchases.
But yeah,
Gucci purses.
If someone like Lund offers it for free, don't expect adjustments. It's going to chop good. It's going to sound good, but don't think it's going to be put on your boosted tune or anything because it doesn't. It's not going to chop, and chopping on a boosted tune. Who cares? You just gap people. They're going to give you a fast tune. Gap people. Who cares?
It's
about
like all
chopping?
those LSs out at the mile event or the half mile event. Every single
Everything
one of them.
chopped.
145.
Yeah, 145 and a half. And another one, blip, 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 150. And I'm like, I go up there, la, 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 and go 169. I'm like, do you want to go fast or you want to chop like an idiot? It's up to you. I'm sorry. I don't know.
We got off on a tangent
I get off
there.
track, because people get crazy with this cam low title stuff.
I have a
Can I get the B cam tune for my 5 liter?
I like the E-cam. It's emissions legal. Chris got that.
I have a 16 Mustang GT with Ford Performance Power Pack. 2, will a VMP tune my power up over the Ford calibration?
In my experience, yes.
We can be a little more, I don't want to say aggressive, because we never take anything to the ragged edge of the octane. But I think we can pull more power than Ford can.
Yeah.
Someone wants to know on the Fairmonte, why the cobrajet, not supercharger?
What?
I don't think they know how much doing a Coyote swap costs.
Yeah, it's not cheap. I got
Then
this.
it's like, all right, well, let's do it NA.
Yes.
Make sure everything works.
Yes.
There's no hiccups.
Exactly.
It drives hundreds of miles fine.
Yep.
Then put a power adder on it.
Imagine I put a I finished the car, cobrajet on it, put it on the Fairmonte, good trans, good rear end, sticky tire, and it runs at 10.1 or 10.2 or 10.3. What are you going to say then? Because it's a light chassis. And then if it runs a badass number like that, then I throw a blower on it or a turbo on it or whatever with the cobrajet intake. You don't think it's going to make good power? Like, I have motor, I don't care if I blow it up. I want to blow it up. I want to see how far I can take it, how much abuse it'll take.
You don't know your limit until you pass it.
Exactly. So I'm definitely going to go as hardcore as I can NA on that car. And then if if I'm not happy with it, run a blower. Or if I already have a blown car, I could turbo it or nitrous and play around. But NA, power, reliable.
Should probably put meth on it.
Yeah, totally. I'm going to get a meth kit because that makes sense.
The plate kit for meth.
That'd be funny.
Someone says not everyone has Joe's big pockets.
Say
What?
What?
I have big pockets?
You have big pockets?
I think they're confused.
Oh, no. We do not have big pockets.
I'm just good with my money.
Yep.
Hayden wants to know, can a Gen2R be bolted on with minimal mechanical experience, or would you say absolutely get installed by a shop on an 11 to 14 GT?
I would do a shop. If you have limited mechanical experience, aka you have a Stanley toolbox.
If you've put an X pipe on a 2-valve or a 4-valve, you can do a blower kit.
Right.
But
The wiring is what gets me, the pinning and stuff like that, is that people get scared. I know you and I don't care, right?
Yeah.
But these people are like, oh man, I would take it to a shop.
to me, if you can, I know this might be a stretch for some millennials, but saying that as a millennial,
Right.
if you can look at a roadmap, you can wire just about anything.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you can read and you can figure out what the... It's a stretch for some people, you'd be surprised. And by read, I mean read a map.
Okay.
So if you can read a map, figure out which street you have to go to get here, you can run wiring.
Millennials use Google Maps.
Yeah. Oh no, she told me to turn here. Oh, it's off a bridge.
I'm on a railroad track. Oh, what happened? Yeah, exactly. But yeah, with if you have if you're like 1, no mechanical experience, 10, great mechanical experience, I think anything 6 and between
People
5
are
and
laughing.
5 and 8, you should be good.
They're laughing like crazy.
Yeah. We try to give you guys a good time.
You did get a couple angry faces in there.
2-valve.
Must have been the millennials.
Guy with his 235 horsepower 2-valve. Oh.
Although all I said was if you can install an X pipe on a 2-valve or a 4-valve, you can basically install a blower kit.
When the angry faces means,
Well, I say
can't.
that because
I
you
guess I can't.
need like a mid-deep 15 millimeter socket to get to the bolt on the outside,
Passenger side lower.
like passenger side upper bolt by
Got
the
it.
frame rail,
Right.
because it's like they have like a little pocket, but it's a pain in the ass. So if you can get the X pipe off there,
You're good.
you
can
should
put
be
a blower
good
on.
putting a blower on. It's like the filter test.
Gotcha.
Someone wants to know, Alex, any weight removed from your car and that fast with no cage?
There's weight added to the
There's
car.
weight added to
You
the
should have
car.
seen all the stuff he had in his trunk. It was quite comical.
Right, I was just like, I had so much stuff in that car.
You gotta think he just took a 3-hour drive.
I took a 3-hour drive, so I needed to have all the essentials. But no, I mean, no weight was removed, weight was added. The car weighs with me in it, so that's why I tell people race weight was 4,002 pounds. The car dry without anyone in it is like 3,800, I'm 215. So it propelled 4,002 pounds down the track. The cage, I don't know what to tell you about that. I'm not really going to address that, but I'm not planning on putting a cage.
It's a street car.
It's a street car. That is, in my opinion, the epitome of a street car. Drive it there, have all the amenities, radio works, AC works, heated and cooled seats work, drive it back and run a badass number. I think that's cool.
Whopper wants to know, what brand one-piece drive shaft would you recommend? And when swapping, do I need an upper control arm to adjust pinion angle, or should I just be fine?
Pinion angle, so it's an 11 to 14 car. We've had success with all brands. We carry DSS. It's very good.
DSS, PST, G-Force.
G-Force. We've had good success with all of them. DSS are made to order. Understand that. So if you order one today, don't expect it at your door 5 days from now. They make them. You know, so you're gonna definitely wait a little bit for DSS, and I think for most you're gonna wait a little bit. But I had a PST in my car when it had an MT82, and a DSS when it had a T56. Great drive shafts, no issues.
And
Eric wants to know, how do they let you race without a roll cage?
Go ahead, Joe. Finish your thought before.
Sorry.
I was going to say, in reference to the pinion angle stuff, I would only worry about that if the car is lowered, because otherwise your driveline angles aren't changing too much, unless you're referring to the issue with the going from a 2-piece drive shaft that has the center support bearing versus the non-2-piece. So your driveline angle changes a little bit there because you don't have that kind of like the wiggle between the two. But I don't know. I mean, you shouldn't need it. If you lowered the car, grab one and change the pinion angle. If you haven't lowered the car, leave it alone.
In terms of the roll cage question, it's not up to me to tell them what they allow or don't allow. It's not up to me.
Yeah.
AKA, don't ask. Shut your mouth.
I don't want to have to put a roll cage in my car.
Exactly.
Leave me alone.
Exactly. It's not happening.
James says, I would want... Hold on.
I'm just going to do a spin again.
We're going to go to Poor Boy.
We're holding
VMP, do you think you... would produce camshafts like your supercharger.
No.
No.
Now there's so many great manufacturers out there, Comp, L&M, all those
That
guys.
we work with a lot of people that we'd rather they just make the cam.
Right.
Not that we don't know anything about cams. We know enough to get ourselves in trouble.
Right.
But there's plenty of guys that have a lot more experience than we do making grinds of camshafts and
Right.
knowing what works on what applications and whatnot. That we're not going to profess to be experts on it. We'll let the people that are experts on cams make the cams and we'll sell them for them.
Nick says, do you guys have experience with built 2 valves running the DW340 in-tank pump and 60-pound injectors? How much power have you seen on 93 with combo? Before you make 2-valve jokes, the car stage 2 heads, built bottom, and P1SC.
Joe, that's all you, brother. That's all you.
The 93 is going to be your limiting factor, not the pump or the injectors.
Stage 2 heads.
Oh man.
I'm kidding. I love messing with you guys.
can, I mean, all the data you need to figure out the limit of what the fuel system will support is already supplied by the manufacturer. They'll tell you gallons per hour versus voltage versus fuel flow. Or fuel flow is gallons per hour. What's the other axes? Pressure. So pressure, voltage, fuel flow, you can figure out how much power that pump will support. And same with injectors. So you kind of limited your question by saying it's on 93. You're not going to find the limit of that fuel system on 93 on that setup. So don't even worry about it.
All right. Wants to know, do you think full bolt-ons an 03 Cobra with VMP Gen3 can run 140 plus?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes. Absolutely.
already has.
Yeah. Been there. A Gen 2 did it. So
Yeah.
don't need a Gen 3.
Nope.
What is the range of cam
I'm
phasing
jealous. Negative 50.
on the S550?
Oh,
30-20.
30-20. Well, you can go more, no? But
Yeah, you
the phaser
can.
won't allow it.
You can.
Negative 30 intake because
Negative 30 intake, positive 20.
positive 20 exhaust.
Or-
And that's
Well, no, the intake phaser, 30-20. The exhaust phaser, I want to say is 30-30.
30-30.
All right, so we have a whole bunch of questions over on Facebook.
Slew?
That was just a slew.
That was
And
just
That was just YouTube.
Cool,
So
very
I'm
nice.
going to stop taking some of the questions over on YouTube at this point,
I'm just going to do spins.
and we're going to go over to Facebook.
Sorry, guys.
So first off, I want to say hi to Marty because Marty said hi to me.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Marty.
Aww.
Aww, I feel the love. He also has a question. So what are your thoughts on the Gen 3 Coyote block? Also, do you know if it is reverse compatible at all with the Gen 1 or Gen 2?
I don't know. In terms of internals, we don't know. I haven't really.
I want to say all the DI stuff's isolated to the heads.
Oh, it is. Oh,
Yeah, because remember when we saw I think it was GT350 heads, they had the holes drilled for DI injectors, but no
Yes.
injectors in them.
right.
So I
Well,
think
even older Coyote setups had the, what do you call it? The cast was almost as if they were referencing one day it would be
would
direct
have
injected.
DI.
I remember seeing an article, Hot Rod or something, where they said, "What's this hole here for?" And they were like, "Oh,
that's for the methanol.
yeah, it's the meth injection." But
So-
go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. Are you?
No, we're done.
Yeah.
We don't really know. I mean, we don't really know the
So Randall
For not
came back and
speculate.
he just cussed me out and said, "Damn you," because I said no more questions off of YouTube.
Yep,
But
sorry.
he actually has an F-150 question.
Cool.
So he says, "What would you expect a 2017 short bed, short cab, 5-liter F-150?"
What do I expect?
That's what he said.
What do I expect? I don't
What
know.
What
would
do
you
we
expect?
Well, it's pretty. It's
I'd
pretty
expect-
sweet.
I'd expect it to have a warranty if you buy it new
Right.
and to run okay.
Right.
If you're talking quarter mile times, like depending on your traction, 14.2 to like 13.5.
Your goals are 1050 for your truck.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe it.
All right, so Mike says, great results with the Gen 3. Should an 11 to 14 guys just stick with the Gen 2R?
That's a decision you're gonna have to.
Yeah, because
really-
it really depends on what your end goal is, what fuel you plan on doing it on, and how much, I hate saying this, but people like to qualify their setups by how much boost they plan on running.
Right.
If you plan on running over 16, 17 pounds, get a Gen 3. Because the Gen 2R on a 5-liter, I don't think you can get enough pulley behind it to make more than 17 pounds, whereas a Gen 3, you can do that pretty easily.
Yeah, no problem.
So Brandon says, my tuner, Alex, has a good video about cam swapping on an F-150 engine.
Oh, okay, cool.
I know a guy.
Did he cough or did you cough?
No, I
He
think she's...
caught
Oh, I got it. Okay.
Alex
I was like,
versus
are you okay?
YOLO.
Is she okay? I think she's got your cough.
Dwayne says, currently NA, plan to boost in the future. Should I stick with stock manifold, go with the Boss manifold, or try out the new 2018 manifold on my 1350?
If you plan on going boost, it depends on the timeline in which you plan on doing that, and whether or not you should mod it now versus just save that money to put towards boost.
Stock intakes do pretty well boosted. You get that torque in there, but a Boss intake really does well up top. So like on a centrifugal setup or something like that, you know, you'd be pretty well served to get the Boss intake. The 18, look, the 18 intake is probably pretty badass, but honestly, it's, in my opinion, it's meant for the 18. That's kind of the way I look at things. The GT350 bolts right onto the S550 with minimal, you know, IMRC silliness. But the 18 stuff, until I see a lot of results back to back from some magazine, not us, we don't need to be doing that, then you could say, okay, but if it's like a lot of work to get it.
To me, it's like the LS6 manifold of the LS world, where all the LS1 guys want the LS6 manifold.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I don't know enough about it, but it seems to make power. If you can get it hooked up right and all the lines without any codes coming up, it seems to be well, but I can't recommend anything. You know, I'm a cobrajet guy. If you NA, cobrajet. That's, you know, the bee's knees, man. All of it. Cat's meow. But yeah, but if you're gonna be giving me the Boss versus this, the GT versus that, then I would defer to the Boss until I see more data on the 18.
Joel wants to know, will there be a difference between a cool day and a hot, humid day when data logging?
Data logging. Yeah, IAT.
Well, there's going to be a lot of differences in the data, the cool day versus hot day, but from a is your tune safe standpoint, as long as everything's configured
Doesn't matter,
properly,
right?
the car should be safe at hot temperatures and cold temperatures.
Yeah, it'll just feel a little better on a colder day.
Probably see a little bit more airflow.
More spark. Earlier.
All spark.
All spark.
Dimitri says, what about the intake from an 18 GT on a 14 F-150?
What?
Yep.
Get the cams figured out first before throwing intakes on it. You know, and you need cams before an intake on an 11 to 14 F-150. Intake cams from a Mustang, do that first, then worry about the intake. Right. People are just like, what about an 18 intake on a 69 Grenada?
It's like Donnie asking us to put something on his stock truck. He was talking about like a Boss manifold. It's like, but why though?
Right. Your stock cams. You know, you're not going to make anything. Oh, other tuners will be like, oh yeah, we can't. We got special stuff. Shut up. Seriously.
Just trying to get that sale.
Alberto says, can you tune an idle lope on a... Didn't we do that already?
Nope. No, he asked them. The other guy asked about idle lopes on boosted cars.
Okay, so he wants it on a twin turbo Boss. Will it affect the turbo's boost?
No. It's just going to be chopping, and you're going to call me too many times about it's idling weird, and it's not drivable, and it's bucking in the parking lot. We're not doing it.
Scott says, what are the exact mods on your red S550?
L&M sleeve motor, Molly pistons, Molly pistons, Manley rods, stock crank, ported heads from Brett Barber, ported lower manifold from Brett Barber, and a Gen 3 with a big mono on it, 120 millimeter PMOS, power by the hour built transmission, stock converter, G-force drive shaft, G-force half shafts. That's it. And FIC 1650 injectors that I'm trying out, and they seem to be doing pretty well.
Charles says, what are some real-world daily driver horsepower numbers for the Gen 3? 10 to 12 pounds of boost, 1,000 wheel horsepower is great and all, but not realistic on a stock bottom end.
Okay.
No, it's not realistic on a stock bottom end.
We didn't make that to make it realistic. It's actually unrealistic. It's actually unbelievable it made that.
Yeah.
Real world numbers could be...
We don't even have real world numbers because he qualified it with 10 to 11 pounds.
That's the
right
thing.
now we don't make a pulley large enough to make 10 to 11 psi on the Gen 3 blower. The pulley that I tested on, the biggest pulley we had was, I want to say 14 pounds
Right. And
on
that's
the, on the
80
85 and a 5% lower.
So, 10, 11 pounds, you need like a 100mm pulley or something like that.
And a stock lower.
And a stock lower, which we currently don't make currently.
Predominantly at the moment.
Don says, does the Gen 3 Mustang
We
intake
love you, Chris.
I love Chris.
fit the 15 to 17 cars? Cheap GT350 alternative?
Sure, why not? That's
Look,
what everyone else is saying.
put it on. If the internet says it works, go for it. And if it works, great. We have experience with GT350, stock stuff, cobrajet, and Boss.
Yep.
Alberto says, this is awesome. Thank you so much for the time you guys give us.
Cool. Like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah. Send it.
John Ford is reaching out to you, Joe. Did you send any tunes out today? Car is ready on the dyno. Thanks from Canada.
John Ford, I sent out like 20 tunes before I got here. I don't believe your car was one of them. Shoot me an email and I'll
I love
look for
that.
it.
Hey, is my tune ready,
Well,
Joe?
Does it look like it's ready?
We're
I'm right
here.
here. It'd be in your inbox if it was. I'll shoot me an email and I'll see what I can do.
Not like you got anything else going on.
No.
Matthew says, can the cam sensor read bad or start going out but not throw codes?
Usually not, unless the sensor has to be pretty bad to throw cam crank sync codes. Although, is he talking about the camshaft position
He's
sensor on a
saying,
Coyote?
Yeah, does cam sensors go bad and not throw codes? I don't think so. I think something be screwy. I was going to say use another
Usually
word.
the cams are just not moving the way that they should be. The sensors usually indicate whether or not they are properly, unless you have the connector issue.
Oh yeah, the 11 to 12 stuff.
Yep.
Brian just came on and said they had snowmageddon in Canada, so he can wait for his tune until it melts.
Yeah, guys,
LOL.
just move. Seriously.
Get down here.
Jacob says, any words for the people on a Whipple ban? No, we don't want to talk about that.
The Whipple bandwagon, that's fine. Look, they wanna run Whipple. Good. I want it to make power because it makes competition better. I want that car to their product to do well, and I want them to make power. So it'll just drive us to be better and make competing products. That's all. We're not haters like that.
Dwayne says, what are y'all's thoughts on eBay headers for 5.0?
Nope. Next question.
That's like the hot topic in
Man,
the 5-liter world right now.
It's like $200
Like
for
Caitlyn Jenner gets bolt-ons.
Yeah, exactly. I've seen on some headers, look, you can understand, you get what you pay for. You get what you pay for. People spend money on Cooks, American Racing, Stainless Works, and all these other headers, Dynatex, because they will last. You put them
They're
in the car,
quality.
They're quality. You put them in. We were talking about quality last week on Mantic clutches and why their price point is the way it is. You don't want to skimp out on stuff like that. You want to spend good money. He's going to turn the heat down, turn it up a little bit because we're a little
turning
hot.
it down.
It's a little warm in here, I
Yeah, it's all
agree.
good.
Get some
Is
muff
it
cabbage
hot in here or
going.
is it me? Oh, hey. There you go.
There we go. Fan
But
action.
yeah, don't skimp.
No
on
touching,
Yeah,
okay?
no touching. No, don't skimp on headers, guys. Really, that's really stupid because it's a pain. It's a pain when he has to get them in there. Imagine you got to get them right back out about 4 months later.
Or you spend 4 data logs with your tuner trying to figure out a false knock issue because your headers are rubbing against the steering shaft, or they're rubbing against the AC stud on the passenger side of an S550, or they're hitting the floorboard on the coupler.
Yep, trust me. I have a Matt Coates right now is having some false knock issues, I think, and he's chasing it down. Once he gets me some logs, we'll determine what it is. But he put a custom exhaust in his car, like custom everything. It's cool, but I suspect something's rubbing somewhere.
Billy wants to know, can I use a Copperhead PCM to control a 15 plus 5.0?
You can, as long as you use the 11 to 14 valve train, and you can make it work
Just
with
not ideal.
Well, the park position's different. So the cams, they don't really like being parked in that other position. So until
And startup sucks.
That's what I'm saying. Until VCT activates, it's going to run like crap.
Right.
Matthew came back and said, Alex, I'm tuned by Pitts?
Alex Pikes
Heights.
in Houston.
With S550 big wing, we can't figure out why the car has a spurting noise coming out from the exhaust, but no knock in the motor.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no. What's his name?
Matthew Woolbright?
I know, I remember Woolbright. He used to have he had a VMP kit and sold it, I think. But yeah,
Well-
I don't know. If it has false knock issues, I'd get your tuner. I mean, I don't know. We're not tuning it, so sorry.
Juan says, what are your thoughts on swapping a F-150 Coyote in a 73 Mach 1? I'm currently thinking of doing that soon.
Damn, that's a big ass car. That's the long ones, too.
You can do it. Have fun.
It's cool. We saw so many Coyote swaps at the car show at Bradenton. I was just so thrilled. There was a Coyote swap Pantera. Coyote swapped everything. So on a Mach 1, it's a big car, and the Coyote NA doesn't make that much torque, but we have something to fix that, buddy. You can throw a blower on it. Throw a blower on it, and it'll be evil.
There's a couple questions over YouTube I'm going to go hit real quick.
Sweet.
Since they disappear. Jared,
I'll
I'm
check
getting
into
to you
it.
now. I hope you're watching, and I hope you're listening. I had to convince him not to double post. Just bought an 03 Cobra with stock Eaton Magnum RTX twin disc, looking to upgrade to VMP 2.3. What other upgrades would you recommend?
This you got right here. Fuel system injectors, boosters, injectors, and a MAF.
Yeah.
Don't we
Kind
have
of
a
got
kit?
lost at RTX.
No,
I was
it's
like,
probably clutch and stuff. Yeah. I would when you get our blower. Don't we have a kit somewhat catered to upgrading blowers? I'm sorry, Cobra cars, like a blower, MAF, booster, and injectors.
yeah, like the VMP fuel pack is the MAF that bolts into the stock housing, the 60-pound injectors, and the booster. But that's really all you need on a Cobra, unless you want to party on like E85 or go down below a 2.8 pulley. I'd recommend just getting a return fuel system at that point, because most of the Cobra's pumps I'm finding are on that ragged edge of they don't work.
Right. I
as
just
well
had
as
one
they
peg
used
out
to.
this morning. I was like, your fuel pumps are done. Then, yeah, it was kind of silly. But yeah, it doesn't need much to stay on 93. But like he said, if you're going to party on the 85, look into like a Division X or some kind of
Or
return
lethal
style.
budget return is what a lot of those guys end up going with around tax season.
Right. Around tax season. Exactly.
Keith says, I have a stock 1450 daily looking for a 5 to 600 rear wheel. What mods do you recommend?
A VMP stage 2 deal. I mean, VMP 82 millimeter pulley. Actually, what was the gentleman's name, Carrie, that won the bracket class in NMRA?
Kevin.
Kevin McKenna.
Keith McKenna.
I think it's Kevin.
Kevin
So
McKenna.
Kevin McKenna came here with a bone stock red Mustang, has like a bunch of miles on. Actually, no, it had like 50,000 or something. Put a stage 2 on it, made 600 wheel, went to Bradenton, won the bracket class. I forget which one. Averaging like 1090s all day, and he bested a 1072. This is a stock car with cats, stock trans, stock everything. So if you have a car and you want about 530 to 600 wheel auto, a stage 2 kit, not only is it consistent, it's priced right, and it makes more power than, I mean, you will ever need, honestly, unless you really, really want to party. But Mr. McKenna did a great job of being consistent with the car. The tune was on point, the shifting was on point, and it made power all day. And I think he's going to drive it to Indiana.
So Eric apparently is in a forensics class right now watching you guys.
Sweet.
So
Nice.
it's pretty funny.
Showing you any dead bodies.
No, we don't want to see any dead bodies,
Oh.
okay? And then we don't want to see any parts either. So
Oh, wait.
Speak for
Oh.
yourself.
if you want to share that, you can email it to us.
Email us, right.
Right? Yeah.
No, don't.
I'm good. Just kidding.
I'm good with that, yeah. Chris says, will going only a bump in compression require a new tune? My 2-valve powered Explorer needs a rebuild, and I don't think anyone offers tuning for it. And I'd like to up the compression during the rebuild.
It depends on how much you're upping the compression. If you're on a stock tune file, you could probably just have a premium fuel in it and not worry about changing the tune. But not something I'd suggest. If you're changing anything with the setup, I'd recommend getting a custom tune for it. What you do with that is up to you.
How about the heads?
What about
Get a
them?
set of PI.
If he has an Explorer with a 2-valve in it, he should already have the PI heads.
How about that elbow that sucks in more air?
Alex, knock it off.
Pick up an Eddie Victor Jr.
A 78 millimeter throttle body.
with a 6061
Right.
adapter
Right.
to go to a stock bolt pattern throttle body. I mean, it's an uphill battle with those things,
All
man.
right.
Coyote
So
swap it.
Yeah.
we
Coyote
have
swap it,
about
exactly.
5 minutes before it's 6 o'clock.
Cool.
And there's
Before it's 6 o'clock.
I mean,
Man,
before
time
it's 3
flew.
o'clock. Before it's 3 o'clock. So we've already sucked up an hour and a half.
Heyo.
We have a whole lot of more
Schlews.
questions. Most of them are on Facebook, so we probably won't be able to get them all.
Rapid fire. Let's do some rapid fire stuff.
Joe might have to go back.
It depends on the shares. If you're not giving us 86
Are these
shares.
like good questions or like the same questions we got every week?
Yeah.
I am blowing up right now.
86
Someone
shares.
is laughing. Someone's laughing. He's like, haha, forensics class. You guys have kept my deployment a lot more fun watching the videos.
Very cool.
Thank you guys. Thank you for your service.
No, thank you for yours.
No, I'm
That's what she
telling
was
them.
saying.
Oh, okay.
I'm thanking them for their service.
Mm-hmm.
Tim says, I live in Alaska. We do not have E85 here, and the best quality fuel at the pump is 90 octane. What is the best octane booster you recommend? I'm running a 14 GT Auto with the 5C,
wow.
stock
Wow.
intake, stock airbox, cat delete, and has run a best of 11.53 at 117.
That's badass. That's very
He's got
good.
mine shaft there up there.
That's, you're right. God, I was like, how's that thing? Oh, okay. We like Torco accelerator. We like VP Octanium, and Boostane seems to work.
All of those above.
Skylar says, when swapping the oil pump gears, is it a must to swap the crank sprocket
Oh,
as well when
yes.
running a VMP blower?
Absolutely, you're there.
When
you
in
have
Rome.
to take it out.
When
you have to
in
remove
Rome.
it. Put one back in there. That has a timing mark, number one, and that is a quality piece.
Power by the Hour came on and said, 2V power forever.
That's Christian,
Is
who
it
has a
Christian?
Lincoln tattoo along with a Cobra tattoo. Makes no sense, but whatever.
Well, it's the Lincoln.
I'll get out of here. Don't
Yeah,
try to
I won't-
justify his
I won't-
tattoo.
I
And then he
won't
has
get
a
into
Shelby
it.
one going down, not even across, it's down. And Carol Shelby's face like on his left butt cheek.
What about the right butt cheek? What's on the right butt
Yeah,
cheek? Is it Henry Ford?
Justin Stevens says, next time Matt Coates is here, to have him on the studio,
Okay.
on with you guys, and just make sure his mic is turned up.
Oh no, he's great. But the problem is he has a pretty heavy Australian accent, so you have to really focus as to what he's saying. I got used to it after a couple of days, but he's a riot, man. He knows his stuff.
He's good people.
Yeah, he calls grabber blue grinder blue, and you'll know why if you just look it up. He's a great guy and tons of fun.
Jared says, thanks. Would it hurt to buy the VMP fueling upgrade before the blower? No E85 in Rhode Island.
So before the blower, should you buy the fuel pack for the Cobra?
It wouldn't be a bad idea. I mean, you could get the car tuned on that setup before you throw the blower on if you wanted to, but I'm a big fan of, not that I like changing a bunch of variables at once, but instead of spending money getting this setup tuned, then spending more money to get it tuned again when you could just get them tuned together.
One time. Right?
Exactly.
Capture 2K says, when will we see a 18 GT with a Gen 3 VMP on it?
I don't.
You won't see one with a Gen 3 VMP
No,
on
the,
it.
Yeah,
the
I don't
Valley
think so.
has just way too many things going on with the DI, but we know Ford Performance has a supercharger for it, and we'll see. We'll see what it makes, and we'll see if we can make power with it. If we can somehow, sell a hood scoop with the setup, we'll
So
throw
a
one on
3-inch
there.
Cervini's hood.
Yeah, exactly. Like all the way to the extended cowl. We'll make it fit, but we'll see. But I don't think it won't be anytime soon. No.
Frank PBH Perdomo. Said-
Yep, that's right.
Perdomo?
No, per diomo. It's
Okay. He says, I have a 96 GT and it really needs some more power. What versions of the heads out there would be best? The C or D or PI or DI or W ... Thank you.
You want the DC cast C heads
yes.
to swap off your 2 valve and just take everything else with it.
That's inside jokes on the PBH stuff. You guys
That's
must
kinda
not be
like-
busy. You guys must,
That's kind of like asking or telling a guy with a 15-up 5-liter to tune his car with A9L to get a B-cam strategy.
What's
in
your
it.
code? A9L. Really? Really?
Chase says, I have a 18 GT. What mods can I do without voiding my warranty with 2
None.
Rs?
None. I mean, wheels, tires, a decal. I mean, the moment you put like a cold air in it, you're going to void your warranty. Period. Anything. So, and a tune, they can poke in there and see when the flashes and
The
runtime and
number of key cycles
key
and whatnot.
cycles. Yeah. So anything calibration or anything might void your warranty. So wheels, tires, and some exhaust maybe.
Miguel says, hi guys, are there any differences between a 16 Coyote differential and a 16 GT350?
Yeah, I think so. I think the 350 has, well, if it's performance package, it also has the oil coolers. Right, so maybe not. Maybe it's just a Super 8.8 and one has an oil cooler, the other one doesn't.
I don't know.
But we don't know. I mean, we don't.
If we had them both up on lifts, there's
could
nothing that I
take
can see from the outside that'd make it different from a performance pack, but I don't know at the end of the day.
I think it's the same on performance pack and that, but the differential might be different. Who knows? But
Maybe it's a torsion diff versus a limited slip.
But the performance pack is torsion.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, they might be the same.
J.R. Forsyth says, is it important to upgrade oil pump gears on an 11 to 12 GT500 cars with Gen2R compared to Coyote cars?
It's not a bad idea because the 4654s have always had a hit or miss issue with oil pump gears. The Coyotes just seem to have more issues with them.
I think RPM is what's killing them. So.
Matthew says 16 Mustang VMP Stage 2 car has a low sputter noise once the car warms up, but no noise in the motor, and check for leaks. Air leaks or sensor reading? No codes. I checked the leaks, found none.
I've heard, have you ever heard a Coyote idle with a free-flowing exhaust? There's like a little, like a little intermittent burble that's in there, and that's factory. Why? When you have cats and stock mufflers, you don't hear that. You don't hear that at all. The moment you put headers, bad boy, exhaust, big, X-pipe, all this stuff, you hear everything. Daniel Stefanski had that. He goes, hey, listen to this. And I'm like, that's normal, bro. Like, it's just, the cams are actually pretty aggressive on these cars, and the phasing is just probably trying to keep them in check. So I wouldn't really worry about a little sputtering. Now, if it's consistent, like a it sounds like a cammed LS, okay, I might send us a log and see what the deal is. I just spit all over the table when I did that.
Oh, you're just cleaning it. I've been flicking the pencil eraser stuff off it the whole time.
Lance says an 11 auto and a 410 swap. Hope your tune I just ordered helps me. Seem to have lost some performance. On a
410 auto car? Yeah, you lost performance, bro. Because you have a 417. If I heard the question correctly, you said you had a 410 on a car that has a 417 first. There's your problem. Put the 315s or 355s in it, and that car is going to be just fine.
Oh, he wants all the torque multiplication.
That's so crazy. First gear lasts like 2 seconds. It just goes. It's like a truck. It's like a creep gear.
No, it's like the first gear in the 10-speed.
Yeah, it's like wow. It's just like instant. It's just silly. Don't really modify the rear gears unless any higher than 355s on an auto car, in my opinion.
We're only going to take a few more questions because we're
past, but we're cool like that.
So do y'all know.
Yeah.
It's getting to be nap time.
So we're going to have to do kind of speed zone.
The tunes after this are all messed up because we're tired.
Slapjack says, I'm scared to ask a 351 Windsor question.
No, hey, come on, bring it down. That's the the fastest cars and any NMRA event are Windsor powered cars, Windsor design. Let's go.
Unless Mahovitz is there.
Yeah, Mahovitz is there. Oh.
G. Fran says, live in Arizona, want to do a flex fuel tune and CAI for now with FI in the future. My problem is our gas is terrible, 91 octane and only E54. Will I see much of a gain with a flex fuel E54 tune and CAI? I've already had the AC evaporator go out at 13,000 miles. Afraid of voiding warranty. Might wait till after warranty. Thanks for what you guys do.
We don't do flex fuel tunes. E54 is just fine. And if you don't want to void your warranty, you probably don't want to touch the car until the warranty is gone, and then you can party.
If you don't want kids.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, if you don't want kids, don't have sex.
But it feels so good.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do?
You got to bite the bullet.
Go ahead.
You got to take the risk.
William says the Gen2, Gen3, 2015 plus Mustang GT, will a low vacuum bypass valve be needed for comp cam stage 2 blower cams or no?
Depends. I mean, it's not a bad idea. I think, did Don Gift get a low vacuum bypass on his Roush blower car?
I'm not sure.
And I don't
think...
But
the issue is if you allow it to go into a cammed idle, because having cams in and of themselves in a 5-liter doesn't necessarily mean your engine idle vacuum is going to be super, super low.
Right.
Or doesn't mean your vacuum at idle is going to be below that 10 psi threshold.
Right.
Or above it, depending on which way you look at it. But if you're phasing the cams in such a way to make them chop at idle, then I'd say absolutely have a low vacuum bypass.
Right.
But outside of that specific scenario, I wouldn't say one's absolutely necessary, but not necessarily a bad idea.
Oh, Brian, you okay? You gonna make it, Brian? Come on. Don't joke over there, buddy. Gotcha. It's all good. No, you're fine. I just want to make sure you're okay.
The last question we're going to take is for my 65 Coyote Swap Mustang, stock intake manifold Boss or CJ for E85?
For E85, it doesn't matter for E85 per se. For power, unlimited power. You're going to want a cobrajet. But hood clearance might be an issue. and you're gonna have to buy a $700 throttle body, a twin jet or a CJ65
Or a GT500
or GT500. Come on, you don't put a twin 60 on a cobrajet. Boss, you can use your stock throttle body, and the tune doesn't really change that much. I mean, it can, but hood clearance might be an issue also because the 65 I think has a bit of a shallow engine bay. But for E85 and power, I do cobrajet. Stock has more torque down low, but the horsepower, you're gonna go boss. It's gonna go stock, boss, and then cobrajet, in my opinion, for power.
Fact.
Yes.
And with that said, there are a whole bunch of questions still on Facebook.
Are there a whole bunch of shares?
Well,
are there 86 and a half shares?
Honestly, I can't see that from where I'm at right now. But yeah, if you guys want Joe to go back and answer your questions.
Poor Joe. You got like 300 tickets between AM and here.
Jesus.
Hey, you want to answer some questions on your off time? Sure.
Well, we could have Alex do it, but
you gotta
usually
pump those
Joe,
numbers up.
usually
Those are
Joe's
rookie
the one that
numbers.
goes through.
Yeah.
Joe answers your questions. I just go, nope, yep, maybe.
So apparently there's 14 shares right now, according to Frank.
86 and a half.
You gotta pump those numbers up.
Yep.
So yeah, keep sharing, guys. If you want your questions answered, make sure you keep sharing, and the guys will go back and actually answer them.
Send me a couple Bitcoin and I'll answer all the questions you want.
Right?
A couple Bitcoins.
When it's down.
They're just little Bitcoins.
Little Bitcoin, just a little Bitcoin.
And I think that's it.
Cool.
We'll call it a day. We'll wrap it up.
Like, share, subscribe. Sweet. Catch what is it? Burnout Box Thursday, 6 o'clock. Justin and Donnie. We'll see what Donnie can make Justin facepalm a couple times in the during the show. So thanks for listening, guys.
Have a good day.
Bye, guys.